Everyone has a lesson. Whether it's good or bad, you can learn from it. Hey, welcome back again. Today's episode is all about friendships and events. Throughout the years of friendships, I've noticed something. Not all of your friends want to see you succeed. Now, this isn't a way for me to attack anyone or anything like that. Honestly, I love all of my friends so much. But this is the truth, and if you don't like something about your friends or someone, then you have to say it. You have to let the truth out, you know? If something's bothering you about someone, then you have to fix it. But it's finally time to bring the truth out. The first guest and a good friend, Tyra, talks about how friendships doesn't have boundaries. She met a girl from France, and this memory is something that she will never forget.
For a friendship story, I thought about a trip that I had to France in 2012 when I was in high school. I was in the chorus club in high school as an after-school activity. And also one girl from French class at my school. We went to France for about, I think it was like nine days, I believe. The point of us was to go for basically like a new cultural experience, to go abroad. And also for us to sing in France, because as I did say, we were part of chorus. So for us to sing in France at this school that we planned to visit. So towards the end of our trip, we went to, it was I think it was like an elementary and also a high school. And we went there for the day to visit some of the students there, talk to them, get to know them better, visit their music class that they had. And we got to sing a few of our songs that we learned for chorus club for them. And we also got to hear something that they prepared for us. But the reason why I'm bringing up this trip was because when we went there to meet these students that were younger than us, that we never met before, with a whole different culture and view on life, and their academics being different, and their meal time was even different and stuff. Just getting to know them, these kids, it was truly a humbling experience. And we were only with them for a few hours, but there was this one girl that I met. She was younger than me. Her name was Mel, and I connected with her a lot out of the other students that I met. And within those few hours, we became such good friends. And it was weird because, I just met this girl for the first time, and she was younger than me. We were from different cultures, but leaving, when it was time for me and my group of people I traveled with to leave, I remember I got really emotional because I didn't want to leave her. And also she wrote something on the whiteboard. I think it said I love you, Tyra, or something like that. I think that's what she wrote on the whiteboard, and she put all these designs and stuff, and it was just very sweet, and it was just very a heartwarming moment. My friendship with her didn't end there. We exchanged Facebooks and stuff, and we talked from here and there. We connected on Facebook, but it was for a few years. I don't talk to her anymore. I even had her on Snapchat, and we snapped each other a few times, but I don't have her on Snapchat anymore. I have her as a friend on Facebook still, but we just don't talk anymore. But basically what I learned from this was friendship can go beyond culture. It can go beyond borders, literally, because I'm here in the U.S. and she's in France.
Right.
And yeah, friendship, it's strong. It can be really strong. It's a beautiful thing.
The next guest is someone I used to work with. Her name is Dahlia. Dahlia talks about a funny moment we had with our friend Khadija. I love these girls. Every time we come back together, we have so much fun. Here's Dahlia's story.
So friendship is really important to me. I always have a few friends. I don't have a lot of friends. I've never been the most popular girl in school or whatever. I always have a handful. I'll say probably 5 back home in Jamaica. And every time when I go down or whatever, it is I've never left. I came here when I was 20 years old, and being like migrating from a different country as a grown up, that's hard. Finding new friends, right? So I got my first job here in the States at Wendy's, and that's where I met Tia and Khadijah. Oh my God, I love those two girls because they are very genuine people. And it doesn't matter how long we hang out, it's like we never left, right? That's the energy that you want. So I've always been, Khadijah works at the same place with me, but because we have our different schedules, we never really go out. And I always see Tia around town, and she's like, "Hi, girl," with her bubbly self. I'm like, "Oh my God, this girl crazy." She's like, "Hi, girl, let's hang out." I'm like, "Okay, let's hook it up." So I think the last time we hung out was last year when we went to Sam's, and of course it was a good time. I still have clips from that night, by the way. So recently we went to this bar in Hartford. It's called the Russells. It's more like a Jamaican theme. And that's what I love with these girls. I'm Jamaican, but it seemed like they were Jamaican in past life because they were getting it. I'm like, oh shoot, it's like being back home again. Like I didn't miss anything, right? So we were pre-gaming, getting a little tipsy. And I'm like, this is what I miss, just being around genuine people. Like, it was so natural, and that's what I love about hanging out with them. So we went to the club. We were probably very intoxicated. Luckily, we Ubered because do not drink and drive. I'm strictly against that. So we Ubered there. We went upstairs. We were getting it. Tia, she's like, she knows she's guilty. She was like the ringleader there. So we're upstairs getting it, dancing, vibing to her music. Like we do this on the daily, which we don't. It's probably a yearly thing. So Tia was like vibing. Her arms are like hanging over the rail. She just turned around and looked at me wide-eyed. I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. What happened? She whispered, "I dropped my drink." I think she gave the people downstairs a whole bath. She was drinking, were you drinking Henny and Coke?
Yeah.
The guy with his lady looked upstairs. I'm like, oh my God, this is how it ends. We're gonna get kicked out of the club. I'm like, at normal, this girl is still twerking by the rail. I'm like, oh shit, this is how we get kicked out of the club. So the security guard came upstairs. He's like, oh, I don't know what he was saying because I was drunk as a skunk, but he's like,
he came up? I remember.
Yes.
He did.
You see, he came up. He was like with his little flashlight shining.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
You see, he actually came up, and I don't know if he said he said something to me, and I don't know if he said it to Khadijah. But I'm like, it's okay. He's like, yeah, just mouthing words. He's like, don't lean over there. Because we spilled drink. But if that were me, I would be mad upset. But we're having a good time. Like downstairs, don't feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, it was dumb funny at the time. And we just carried on with our night like it was nothing. But it was, Tia, why are you looking like that? It was fun.
No, it was fun. It's just like, damn.
It was fun.
I just remember that. I don't remember that security guard coming up and be like, hey.
Hey, he's like, hey. But whatever. So we got home. Tia have clips. My friend was passed out in the bathroom, and I was sitting on the corner. I'm like, Tia, would you like some bagels? I don't know if who
Want some bagels, boo?
You want some bagels, boo? If you guys follow her on Snap, you'll probably see that night if you guys are following us. Those bagels were good.
Yo, those bagels are...
Yeah. A matter of fact, she still has her wine in my refrigerator, which we should do part 2 soon. What do you think?
Oh, of course. Definitely.
I know you're down. You are down, and Khadijah's always down. That's how it should be. We're like having real friends. They should be always down. I love it. We should do a girls trip. I think that would be lit. Yeah.
Texas?
Ooh. Everything is bigger in Texas, I heard. Wink. No wink. Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
Hot mess. But yeah. That's what life is about, finding real people. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you too.
Good. I love it. All right.
Oh, I love you. See, listen to Dahlia and find real friends. Having great friends around is always a blessing, but what if a friend randomly deletes you off social media and doesn't want to talk to you anymore? Another good friend, Marleni, tells her story about one of her best friends being mad at her for the wrong reasons.
Lately, I've been dealing with like loss of friendships, and not really loss, but separation basically from friends. I have a group of 6 best friends. We're all intertwined best friends. Like, we all know each other. We're all very close within each other. But according to the signs, there's 2 signs of every kind of zodiac sign. So there's 2 Leos, 2 Pisces, 2 Geminis in the group, and then 2 Capricorns. So we're all pretty even when it comes to zodiac signs, and everyone knows that the Leos are the ones who are the most dramatic. And I'm a Leo. So me and another close friend of mine, we're both Leos, and we are pretty much attached by the hip. Like, wherever we are, wherever we go, we check up on each other. We like pretty much depend on each other's presence for everything, or for for everything. Mental support, emotional support, everything. I am the type of person that when I am sad, upset, hurt, angry, I like to deal with that on my own. I like to take my own space. I like to be on my own. I like to deal with my own thoughts. And then I like to regroup with my friends. And all of my friends know this, like, they all know how I am when it comes to situations. So there's one friend of mine. I'm gonna name her Billy. Billy and I, we are, pretty much attached at the hip. And so right now we're dealing with this pandemic and quarantine. So before this quarantine, I was doing my own self type of quarantine, where I was just going from work back home, from home back to work. Like, I was distancing myself from my friends, because it would literally be me coming out of work and going straight to their houses, and then going home at like late at night, and then not having enough sleep, so then going back to work super tired. So I knew that there was something that I had to learn how to manage in there. So I started taking my time away from my friends, and it was just so that I could mentally take care of myself, because I deal with mental health issues myself. So I felt like and I told them this, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting too clingy to you guys, and I depend a lot on you guys and like your presence, and I don't think that's very healthy for me, because when you guys are not there, I feel like I have nobody, So I ended up distancing myself from my friends, and Billy and I just, separated. And Billy took that very personal. She took it like, oh, you are against me, like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Like, what did I do wrong? And because Billy and I are very clingy in general, especially with each other, I had to like let her know, like, this is not about you, it's about me. Like, I'm dealing with this. Okay. So the story sets off. Billy lost someone that was apparently close to her. I didn't know about this person at all. Like, I didn't know they were close like this at all. So Billy lost someone, and she just texted in the group chat and was like, hey, I'm gonna go to an awake. So I don't really know what to say to make somebody feel better when they're going through a loss, because there is absolutely nothing anybody can tell me to feel better during a loss. It's hard, it's difficult, and I just want to be in my own space and deal with my own loss, and then I'll reach out, So, I didn't reach out to Billy that day, but the next day I reached out to her, and I was like, hey, I want to know how you're doing, how are you coping? And then I realized she had unfriended me, and she had left the group chat. So I was like, hey, is everything okay? I see you left the group chat. And she commented telling me, like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm so upset with you. I can't believe you. And I was completely out of, like, lost. I was confused. I didn't even know what she was talking about. I'm like, what did I do now? Yeah, I was so confused. So next thing you know, like, she's talking to every member in the group except for me. And I'm, trying to gather all the information I can from everybody. And I'm like, why is she mad? What's going on with Billy? Like, And so turns out Billy was upset at me for not reaching out to her. during her loss, which was the day before. And I'm like, well, why is she upset with me? Because I literally just gave her space. Like, that's what I would do if I knew better. Like, you know, that's how I deal with loss, you know. So this pretty much like blew out of proportion. We ended up hanging out together with the group because one of our friends, she lives pretty far. She ended up coming down for the weekend, and we all hung out and we put our differences aside. We ended up being in a car ride, just me and Billy. I don't know how we ended up in this car ride, just us two. She's dropping me off home, and she talks about, I'm tired of this friend, I'm tired of this friend, I'm tired of that friend, and I'm tired of you. And I'm like, whoa, okay, tell me more. She's like, yes, I'm tired of you, and I'm tired of this person, and I'm tired of this person, because you guys are never there for me. You guys are just never there for me when I need you, but when you need somebody, you throw a tantrum, you talk about how nobody's there for you. And I was like, let's take a minute right now, because right now you sound like me, and that's kind of a problem. And then, you know, we had to, she's like, are you fucking kidding me? She took it like for a whirlwind. And I'm like, first of all, this topic has to do with you being mad at me for not being there. And I told her straight up, I was like, listen, I am not sorry for not being present when you wanted me to be there, but I am sorry for not knowing how you are when you deal with loss. Because if I was more aware of like how she deals with loss, I would have been there. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
She never communicated, hey, I need someone here. She never communicated, hey, I need company. She never communicated anything except for, I'm going to an awake. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I deal with certain things very much different than how she would, or than anybody would. I just want to be by myself. So she took that very personal. So besides the fact that she was already mad at me for this issue, now she's mad at me on top of being mad at me because I wasn't sorry. So, this was, yes, sis, this was very complicated at this point. I'm like, I really don't know what to tell you, because I'm not going to stay here and lie about how I felt at first, because how I felt at first is still valid, and how I feel now is still valid. How you feel is also valid, but I told her, you cannot put the way you feel or how your emotions on me. And then she took that very personal, and I realized she took it personal because she's clingy, and I didn't take it personal because I was learning already how to not be clingy. You get what I'm saying? So we were on two different mindsets, me and Billy. So, you know, my friends and I, we just ended up like, me and Billy stopped being very close. We're not close at all. We barely even talk, but I still love her. Like, I love her to death. I'm not angry at her, but she's angry at me still. And I don't know why. Let me tell you why. Because there's no point in being angry for so long, because now you're just building emotions. You're hoarding on into emotions of anger, which you spend more energy doing than to just forgive someone. You're hoarding anger, and that's
and you're causing tension between all.
And you're causing
friends.
tension, you know, exactly, with your other friends. My other friends approached her, and they were like, "Yo, that's kind of unfair for you to put this much pressure on Marleni, because first of all, none of us were there for you. Nobody was there for you, and you expect her to be there." She's like, "Yeah, she needs to be there for me." So pretty much everyone was like, "Hold on." No one was there for you, so why are you just being mean to her?
She's mad at you.
She's mad at me, sis. So they were just like, yo, I just don't understand why you're so mad at her. And then the other friend was telling her, like, it's kind of unfair that you're putting this much on her, on Marleni, because she deals with things. She's dealing with a lot more than just you right now. She's dealing with personal matters that are serious, and it's unfair for you to put your emotions onto her, because that's not on her, that's on you. Point is of the story, me and Billy are not close right now, but I know that we will be at some point, you know, throughout
it's gonna
time.
take time, definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna take time.
You guys are definitely gonna be close again.
Yeah, you know, I'm not taking her. I guess the point of it is, I don't take, my advice for everyone, my point is, don't take someone else's emotions personal. That's one thing. Everyone deals with certain things differently. My emotions cannot be portrayed onto the person that you are. And vice versa. If you are hurt by something that that I did in general, don't take that personal, because the way I felt or the way I reacted at that moment was an action that had to do with me and not with that person. It was a personal choice of action and not towards somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So pretty much, it's like the way I felt, the way she feels about me right now, her being angry, her being upset, that is her own emotion towards me, and I have no right to be upset at that, because that's how she feels. And vice versa. Right. And vice versa. If that's how I feel, like, you know, I wasn't sorry, but I'm sorry that I didn't know how you are when you lose someone, that's also personal. That's my way of coping with things, and that, like, I shouldn't have to change that for anybody else. You get what I'm saying? Because now that means that I have to adjust to your likeness, so that I can be a certain person with you and not be myself, and that's not okay. Always be yourself at the end of the day. Always. You know, and I'm just learning to just be within myself, be with yourself, be with your thoughts, and process every single day how you would react if you were in that person's shoe. Which is why I feel like before my own self-quarantine, that's what I was trying to learn. I was trying to learn how to not react, how to not give a reaction to everything, because not everything deserves a reaction. You cause more of an impact when you just remain silent, you know. And I guess I was sorry for. I'm like, you know, I'm just not sorry for not being there. I'm like, I don't know how to say this.
You're just sorry for not being aware. That's all it is.
Yeah, and exactly, for not being aware.
That's all it is. If she's mad,
yeah.
She's mad. That's eventually she's gonna get over it, and then you guys will be best friends again. You know, that's all it is. Exactly. Yeah.
But that was my life lesson. That's what I've been dealing with recently. But I don't let what happened, like, dictate how I feel every single day. That's like at the back of my mind. I don't even pay attention to like how those feelings interact with my daily life, because it shouldn't do that.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Got a lesson and want to share? Email me at learnedlessons2020@gmail.com. Don't forget to like Lessons Learned on Facebook and follow on Instagram.